distinguished guests, delegates, friends. Allow me to welcome you all on behalf of the O.I.M Regional Director for North Africa and MENA, Mr. O.I.M, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today due to an urgent meeting in Qatar. I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome you all on behalf of the Africa Desk at US State Department. This event has been made possible thanks to the generous funding of US Department of State, Bureau for Population, Refugees and Migration through the Africa Regional Desk in Cairo. Before I start, I would like to thank the Kingdom of Morocco and the authorities for warmly welcoming us and allowing us all the support to organize this event successfully. I would also like to thank you all for joining us in this course of the coming days to address this urgent and important matter. The following individuals deserve special recognition. I'm extremely thankful to Mrs. Jamila Suki for organizing this event and for bringing us all together today in this room. I would also like to warmly thank Mr. Timothy Stowe for his guidance and support, and Mr. Lance Swanson for building up towards this event, and the entire HSI and USG team for accepting our invitation to share their expertise with us. In the past years, the Africa Regional Migration Program, ARMP.
There is no translation.
There's no translation. Translation?
No. They have a technical problem.
Yeah? Can I continue?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. In the past years, the Africa Regional Migration Program, ARMP, has been working closely with partner countries, enhancing the capacities and capabilities of their teams that are directly responding on the ground to the needs. Our aim is to assist countries in the great efforts they are undertaking. Your teams on the ground are the true heroes, carrying out the heavy burden day in, day out on the front line, responding to the increased demands. It cannot be denied that today's challenges exceed by far anything the region has experienced in the past. Today, we are witnessing an unprecedented increase in the number of young children leaving their homes in the hope to escape their realities and to find a better tomorrow. However, we all know how that ends. In 2023 marked the deadliest year with more than 8,600 migrant deaths recorded, according to the figures of the International Organization for Migration. This number is high, but it must be mentioned that the number of deaths recorded still represents only a minimum estimate, because the majority of migrant deaths around the world go unrecorded. This increase in deaths among migrants is something we are witnessing globally, as people desperately try to flee due to internal conflicts, which affect the vulnerable, the most vulnerable, I have to say, the hardest. And these internal conflicts, I have been a personal witness to some of them, fortunately and unfortunately, in Iraq and Syria. There's a saying that goes, you can take a child out of the war, but how can you take the war out of a child? Due to economic factors as well and effects of climate change, according to WHO, research shows that 3.6 billion people already live in areas highly susceptible to climate change. Between 2030 and 2050, climate change is expected to cause approximately an additional 250,000 deaths per year for undernutrition, malaria, diarrhea, and heat stress alone. The direct damage costs to health excluding costs in health-determining sectors such as agriculture and water and sanitation, are estimated to be between 2 to 4 billion per year by 2030. While worldwide natural disasters lead to more displacement than conflict, this movement tends to be short-term. Of the 71.1 million internally displaced people, IDPs, at the end of 2022, just 8.7 million, that's 12%, were displaced by disasters, while insecurity and conflict often prevent residents from safely returning to their place of origin. In most cases, people go back after natural disaster strikes. Between 2019 and 2020, globally, we recorded more than 20 million displacements due to natural disasters each year. But most people did not stay displaced for long. Fewer than 9 million remained internally displaced. At the end of the year, most disaster-related displacement is short-term, but migration-related to slow-onset climate change may be more permanent and possibly larger scale. Sea level rise, land degradation, coastal erosion, extreme temperature, and other gradual impacts of climate change can make entire areas, in some cases entire islands, unlivable. Threatened by viability of rural livelihoods and foster competition over resources, the World Bank's worst-case estimate is that 216 million people could be on the move by 2050. As water becomes scarcer and agriculture livelihoods are threatened, while many parts of the world are and will be affected by this, causing larger displacements, it cannot be denied that Africa, Sahara, by far is the most affected area, causing more individuals to seek a safe haven elsewhere. Challenges of this magnitude can no longer be addressed by one organization, one entity, or one country. In the middle of all these challenges, there are those who see this as an opportunity, promising and selling false hopes and dreams to those desperate souls. We have seen that the crimes committed include more than just trafficking of individuals by organized networks of criminal organizations that do not stop at state borders. That's why we, too, should not stop at state borders and should work together, hand in hand. Together, we are stronger, and if one of us cannot do it alone, together we can do it together, because we are stronger. As you take this journey that starts today, please remember that you are not alone. The ARMP-PRM funded US programs are proudly working with offices of prosecutor general and law enforcement across the entire continent. In total, our programs have engaged 54 countries on multiple thematic areas. One way or another, let us learn from each other. Let us work with each other, together in the benefit of a continent and in order for us to protect the leaders of tomorrow, the children of today. Migration has always been a coping mechanism for humankind, existing across centuries, and it is not something specific to Africa, nor is it an African problem. A couple of weeks ago, I want to share an experience with you. I visited one of my favorite places, Ellis Island, where my eye caught a little placard on the wall next to a text saying peak immigration years 1880, 1924, titled Leaving the Homeland. The Great Migration of 1880, 1924 arose from the troubled conditions of the 19th century European life. Overpopulation, land shortage, and unemployment created severe economic burdens. while legalized prosecution threatened ethnic and religious minorities. Driven by hardship at home and drawn by the promise of economic opportunities, millions came to the United States. Despite the emotional pain of leaving family, friends, and home, these travelers hoped that their lives in America would somehow be better. While it does describe the life in Europe in the 19th century, one cannot deny that the reality to today's picture on the ground is very similar in Africa and elsewhere in the world. A wise man once said, "Our children are the rock on which our future will be built, our greatest asset as a nation. They will be the leaders of our country, the creators of our national wealth, those who care and protect our people." That wise man was Nelson Mandela. I wish you all a healthy and productive stay in Marrakesh, and I look forward to engaging with all of you in the coming days, learning from each other for ways how we can better work together, how we can better put our hands together to protect the most vulnerable asset we have, our children. Thank you.